My child, listen. Not with your ears, for they may only hear the hum of the room around you. Listen with the deepest part of your being, the part that still hopes, the part that remembers the echo of my voice. You might not hear me in the way you once did, but I see you. I see the quiet ache in your heart, a hollowed-out space that seems to have grown between us, a silence that stretches out before you like a vast, empty wilderness. It is in this place that you feel utterly lost, and your most constant, painful question is, where are you? So let me speak to you in this silence. Not with a booming voice from heaven that shakes the mountains, but with a love that surrounds you as gently and as surely as the air you breathe. Think of this not as a sermon to be endured, a lecture on your failings, or a command to try harder. See this as a letter, a personal message, delivered directly to you. A letter you can unfold in the quietest room of your heart. A letter you can read and reread until its truth seeps into the very marrow of your soul. I am here. That is the simplest and most profound truth I can offer you. And I have never, not for a single moment, not for a fraction of a second, looked away. I see you, right as you are, in this very moment. I see the soft glow of your screen reflected in your eyes. I see the room you're in, the chair you're sitting on, the specific way you hold your body. I see the subtle weight in your posture that speaks of a weariness running deeper than muscle and bone. It is a weariness of the soul, and I know it intimately, for I have been with you in it. I have been with you through every long, sleepless night. The ones where you've stared at the ceiling, your mind a relentless storm of 1,000 questions, 1,000 worries, 1,000 regrets, each thought echoing in a space that feels utterly empty of my presence. You have felt profoundly and terrifyingly alone in those moments, but you were not. I was the stillness in the room, the silent witness to your suffering, my heart breaking with yours. You have prayed. Oh, how you have prayed. Your prayers have not been careless or few. You have sent words, pleas, desperate bargains, and angry cries up toward a sky that felt like it was made of brass, impenetrable and uncaring. You've whispered your deepest fears into the darkness of your bedroom, hoping for a whisper in return. You've shouted your frustrations into the noise of your daily commute, begging for a sign, any sign at all. You've sat in the forced stillness of a church service, surrounded by faith, yet feeling a million miles away, and the only answer you've heard is the echo of your own voice, your own longing. You have asked me, begged me, are you even listening? You've wondered if your prayers are even making it past the ceiling, if they are getting lost in the static of the universe. You've looked at the lives of others, those who seem so vibrant in their faith, and wondered if I've simply turned my attention to them, to those with louder voices, more passionate praise, or hearts less complicated and messy than your own. The thought itself brings a fresh wave of shame, but it is a real and painful fear you have carried. I have seen you pick up your Bible, the book that once felt like a living conversation between us. Its pages used to breathe life into you, words leaping out to meet you exactly where you were. But now, when you open it, its pages feel heavy, the words like a foreign language you've forgotten how to speak. You trace the verses that once held you like a loving embrace, the promises that were a lamp to your feet in a dark time, and now they are just ink on a page, beautiful perhaps, but distant, a relic of a time when you felt something, anything, and when you close the cover, it is with a sigh that carries the entire weight of your disappointment, the profound grief for a connection you cherished and now mourn as if it were gone forever. I have been there in the car with you, as you drive in silence. I see your thumb scroll right past the worship songs that used to be the soundtrack of your hope, the anthems of your joy. You just can't bring yourself to sing along. The melodies that once lifted your spirit into the heavens now feel like a heavy judgment, a painful reminder of a joy that feels utterly alien to you now. You see others with their hands raised in surrender, tears of gratitude streaming down their faces, and you feel like a foreigner in your own faith. You feel like an actor playing the part of a believer, terrified that at any moment someone will see past the costume and discover the vast hollowness inside of you. This loneliness is a unique and exquisitely painful cave. It's one thing to feel lonely in the world, to lack human companionship. It is another thing entirely to feel lonely in my presence, or what you perceive as my absence. It is the loneliness of an orphan standing outside the window of a warm and loving home. You feel like you're on the outside of a great, beautiful feast, peering through the glass at a warmth you remember but can't currently feel. You hear the echoes of laughter and the familiar refrains of songs from inside, but you are out in the cold, and you don't understand why the door that was once so wide open now seems shut, locked and barred against you. And I know the shame that has become your unwanted, constant companion. It is a voice that whispers insidious lies in the quiet moments. It tells you that this silence is your fault, that you must have done something terribly wrong to deserve this. It argues that you didn't pray enough, read enough, serve enough, or believe enough. It convinces you that your faith was a fragile, brittle thing, and that you have broken it through your neglect or your doubt. It points to your very humanity, your moments of anger, your seasons of apathy, your persistent questions, and presents them as evidence of your fundamental failure. You carry this guilt like a stone in your gut, a heavy secret you're afraid to confess, even to me, fearing it will only confirm your deepest fear, that you have wandered too far to ever be welcomed back. I have watched you go through the motions of faith. You say all the right things. You smile at all the right times. You keep up the appearance of someone who is holding it all together. But I see the fine cracks in the facade you present to the world. I feel the trembling of your spirit behind your careful composure. I see the sheer exhaustion in your eyes when you finally allow yourself to be alone, when the performance is over for the day and the crushing reality of the silence rushes back in to fill every space. You are tired, so tired. Tired of trying to fix this. Tired of trying to feel something you don't. Tired of trying to force a roaring fire from embers that have grown cold. I have witnessed your quiet, secret grief for the person you used to be. The one who was so certain, so passionate, so full of a simple, unshakable faith. You miss that version of yourself. You wonder where they went, as if they were a different person entirely. You look in the mirror some days and see a stranger looking back, someone more cynical, more tired, more jaded, and more distant than the believer you once knew so well. And you're terrified that this is all that's left. You're afraid that the best of your spiritual journey is already behind you, a memory of a brighter time that will never return. Now I want you to hear me, right here, in the center of that pain, in the very heart of that emptiness. Lean in and listen closely. I haven't been a distant, detached observer of your suffering. I have been an active participant in it. In every single moment you have felt abandoned, I was there, sitting with you in the dust of your despair. In every tear you have cried, a piece of my own heart has broken with yours. There is no corner of your wilderness I have not walked with you. Your silence has never, ever silenced my love. Your distance has never put you outside the infinite reach of my grace. I see all of it. The struggle, the shame, the loneliness, the exhaustion. I see it, and I do not condemn you. I see it, and my heart overflows with a compassion so deep it could drown all your fears. I see you, my child. I see you. You have come to believe this silence is a punishment. You see it as a vast void, a clear sign of my displeasure, or a direct result of your failure. You have fought against it, struggled with it, tried to fill it with noise and frantic activity, anything to make it go away. You have treated this silence as the enemy. But what if I told you, my beloved, that this silence is not a void but a vessel, that it's not an absence but a different, deeper kind of presence? What if this season of quiet is not a punishment, but a sacred invitation? Think of the earth in deep winter. On the surface it appears barren, desolate, even dead. The vibrant colors of summer and autumn are gone, replaced by monochrome shades of white and gray. The trees stand like stark black skeletons against a pale sky. There is a profound stillness, a deep and frozen silence that blankets the landscape. To an unknowing eye it looks like the end of all life. But you know better, don't you? You know that beneath the hard, frozen ground, life is not absent. It is resting. It is gathering. Roots are stretching deeper into the hidden soil, seeking sources of nourishment that are invisible from the surface. The soil itself is regenerating, gathering strength and nutrients after a long, exhausting season of production. Winter is not the end of the garden. It is a sacred and necessary fallow period that makes the glorious bursting life of spring possible. Without the winter, the spring would have no strength. Your soul is like that garden. You have been through a long season of producing, of striving, of feeling, of giving. Your spirit has worked hard, bearing fruit, growing and reaching. But the soil of the human soul cannot always be in bloom. It too needs a winter. This spiritual silence you so deeply fear is your soul's winter. It is my loving hand gently turning over the soil, letting it breathe, allowing it to recover. It is my wisdom, knowing that for new life to eventually spring forth, a deeper, more resilient, more authentic life, there must first be this period of profound and holy rest. You are not dying, you are not being abandoned, you are wintering. And I am the Lord of every season, especially this one. The world you live in despises silence and stillness. It glorifies noise, busyness, production, and constant visible connection. Your value so often is measured by how much you do, how much you create, how much you are seen and heard. That relentless pressure inevitably seeps into your spiritual life. You start to believe your spiritual value is measured by the intensity of your feelings for me, or the visible passion of your worship. And so when the feelings fade and the passion cools, you believe your value has diminished. You believe you are failing. But I am not the world. My ways are not your ways. They are higher, deeper, and gentler. In my kingdom, rest is not laziness. It is a sacred act of trust. Stillness is not emptiness. It is the holy space where we can finally hear the deepest truths that are drowned out by the noise. Silence is not my absence. It is the sacred space where I do my most profound and transformative work within you. I am inviting you out of the frantic, exhausting noise and into a sacred hush. I'm inviting you to stop doing for a while and simply learn how to be held, to be loved, to be enough, exactly as you are, right here in the quiet. This silence is not a wall I have built between us. It is a room I have prepared for you. Think of it as a quiet infirmary for a weary soul. You have been wounded in the battles of life and faith. Your spirit is bruised, exhausted, and running on empty. It would be unkind of me to demand that you get up and march. It would be unloving to expect you to sing and dance while you are still healing from your injuries. Instead, in my love, I have led you to this quiet place. It feels lonely because it is a place where the clamor of the outside world and even the clamor of your own spiritual striving must be hushed for a time. It is here, in this divine stillness, that the deep internal healing you so desperately need can finally begin. It is here that I can gently tend to the wounds you have been trying so hard to ignore or push through. You have been running on spiritual adrenaline for a long time, sustained by powerful experiences, emotional highs, and mountaintop moments. These are good gifts from me, but a faith built only on feelings is like a house built on sand. When the inevitable storms of life come, the storms of loss, of doubt, of disillusionment, of exhaustion, that house cannot possibly stand. It will be washed away by the changing tides of circumstance and emotion. I love you too much to let you live permanently in a house built on sand. So in my mercy, I have allowed the tide of emotion to recede for a season. It feels like I have left you, but I have not. I am simply inviting you to build on a new, unshakable foundation. I am inviting you to build your trust not on the shifting sands of your feelings, but on the unshakable rock of who I am. My character does not change when your feelings do. My love for you is not dependent on your emotional state. My presence with you is not contingent on your ability to perceive it. This season of silence is a divine lesson in that very truth. It is a sacred opportunity to learn to trust that I am good, that I am present, and that I am for you, even when you feel absolutely nothing. This is the faith of the deep. It is a faith that is not afraid of the dark. It is a faith that can walk through the valley of the shadow of death, not because it can see the way out, but because it trusts the shepherd who is walking right beside it. Do not be afraid of this spaciousness in your soul. I know it can feel empty and terrifying, but it is not emptiness. It is openness. It is my gift to you, an uncluttered, quiet space for your soul to finally breathe. It is a gentle invitation to let go of your desperate need to control your spiritual life, to understand everything, and to perform for my approval. It is a tender call to surrender. Surrender your need to feel a certain way. Surrender your own definitions of what a successful spiritual life looks like. Surrender your guilt and your shame. Lay it all down, right here in the quiet, and just be. Let me be God. Let me hold you. Let me heal you. Let me lead you. The silence is not your enemy. It is the sacred ground where your old, exhausted self can finally rest, and a new, more deeply rooted you can begin, slowly and quietly, to grow. As you have sat in this silence, other voices have grown louder, haven't they? The insidious voice of the accuser and the persistent voice of your own insecurity. They have slithered into the quiet, attempting to give you a new name born from this difficult season. I have heard the names they call you in the secret places of your heart, and I am here today to tell you that they are all lies. I am here to remind you of your true name, the name I have given you. You have heard the whisper that you are disconnected. It's a painful lie that feels like truth. You feel like a branch that has fallen from the vine, withering on the ground, cut off from the source of life. You look at your life and see no spiritual fruit, no tangible sign of my power at work, and you conclude that the connection between us must have been severed. But I say to you, my child, your true name is held. You are not a fallen, abandoned branch. You are a branch that is being pruned. To the branch, pruning can feel violent and confusing. It feels like a cutting away, a loss, but the vine dresser's purpose is never to harm the branch. It is always to prepare it for greater, more beautiful fruit in a future season. The connection between us is not based on your feeling of it. It is based on the unchangeable fact of my spirit dwelling within you. That bond is unbreakable. You may feel distant, but the spiritual truth is you have never been closer, because you are being held in the very palm of my hand as I do this deep and necessary work in your soul. Nothing, not your doubt, not your apathy, not this deafening silence, can ever separate you from my love. You are held. You have started to believe the lie that you are unreliable. You look back at your fervent promises, your passionate declarations of faith, and you compare them to your current apathy and wariness. Shame points to this contrast and tells you that you are a fair-weather follower, that your love for me was conditional, and that when tested by this season of silence, you have failed the test. But I whisper this eternal truth over you. Your true name is beloved. My love for you has never been based on your reliability or your performance. If it were, no one in all of creation would ever be loved. I chose you and I love you because I love you. It is who I am. I knew every moment of your weakness before you ever lived it. I knew this season of silence would come long before you did. My love is not a response to your perfection. It is the very foundation of your existence. Remember the story of the son who ran away. He shamed his family, wasted his inheritance, and was utterly unreliable. But did the father's love waver? No. The father waited, he watched, and he ran to embrace his son while he was still a long way off. He didn't wait for an apology or a promise to do better. He simply threw his arms around his beloved son. That is how I love you. Your perceived unreliability does not change your identity. You are and you will always be my beloved. There is another lie that has taken root in your heart. It tells you that you are too much. It whispers that your doubts are too big. Your questions are too challenging. Your emotional needs are too draining. You feel like a complicated case, a difficult problem that is too messy even for God, and so you try to hide the raw, unfiltered truth of your heart from me, bringing me only the parts you think I can handle. But hear me now, my precious child. The truth is that you are enough. You are not too much. You are exactly enough. Because I myself created you. Did the potter ever complain that the clay was too messy or difficult to work with? I fashioned you in your mother's womb. I know the number of hairs on your head. I know the complex and beautiful tapestry of your thoughts, your fears, your hopes, and your pains. None of it is too much for me. In fact, it is the very thing I want. I don't want the polished, edited, religious version of you. I want the real you. I want your messy, complicated, beautiful heart. I want your doubts, because they are an opportunity for us to find a deeper, more honest truth together. I want your questions. They do not threaten me. I want your needs because it is my deepest joy to be the one who meets them. Do not hide from me. Come to me. Just as you are. You are not too much. You are, and you have always been, enough. And perhaps the most pervasive and painful lie of all is that you are a failure. You have interpreted this spiritual silence as a final grade on your report card. F. You believe you have failed at being a good Christian. You have failed at faith. You have failed me. Oh, my beloved. If only you could see yourself through my eyes for a single moment. You are not a failure. You are my child. And your life's journey is not a test to be passed or failed. It is a story that is being written, one chapter at a time. This chapter, this season of silence, is not the end of the story. It is a pivotal, essential part of the narrative. A faith that has never been questioned is a faith that has never been truly owned. You see this season as a sign of your failure. I see it as a sign of your fortitude. I see you still here, still straining to listen for my voice even when you cannot hear it. That is not failure. My child, that is the very definition of faith. You have not failed me. You could never fail me. My grace is not a prize for the spiritual winners. It is a life raft for those who feel lost at sea. And my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect, not in your strength but in your weakness. You are not a failure. You are my child, and I am so incredibly proud of you for enduring. Let these truths sink deep into the soil of your soul. You are held. You are beloved. You are enough. You are my child. This is your true name. Rest in this love. It is the one thing in all of creation that will never, ever be silent. I know your heart, And I know there is a part of you that is hearing all this and thinking, this is beautiful. I want to believe it. But what do I do now? How does this end? You are longing for a map, a 5-step plan, a clear strategy to get back to the way things were before the silence fell. But my invitation to you today is not to fix, but to trust. The journey out of this wilderness is not a frantic sprint back to the familiar. It is a slow, gentle walk, hand in hand with me. And we are not going back to the way things were, to a faith built on the shifting, fleeting sands of feelings. We are moving forward, together, to something far more real, far more resilient, and far more beautiful. I am inviting you into a new rhythm of faith. The old rhythm may have been loud, fast-paced, and ultimately exhausting. The new rhythm is the rhythm of grace. It is slow. It is quiet. It is steady. It simply invites you to be present with me, right where you are, in this very moment. So what does this gentle walk forward look like in practice? It begins with something so simple, you might have overlooked it. It begins with a single breath. Right now, in this moment, just take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. As you breathe in, know that you are breathing in my grace, my life, my constant sustaining presence. As you breathe out, release the tension you're holding in your shoulders. Release the shame you've been carrying. Release your need to understand. This simple act of conscious breathing is a prayer. It is an acknowledgement that even when your heart feels empty and your mind is full of noise, I am as close as your very breath. Do not force yourself to read entire chapters of Scripture if it feels like a heavy burden. Instead, find one single verse, perhaps one that has comforted you before. Maybe it is this one from Psalm 46. Be still and know that I am God. Let that be your anchor in the storm of your thoughts. Write it on a note and place it where you will see it. When anxiety and the feeling of failure rise up, just return your mind to those simple words. Let them wash over you without striving to feel anything. Be still and know that I am God. That is all. That is enough. Do not force yourself to sing worship songs if your heart is not in it and the words feel hollow. Instead, take a walk, even for just a few minutes. And as you walk, set your mind to a simple task. Look for one beautiful thing. Just one. It could be the way the sunlight filters through the leaves of a tree, the intricate design of a flower, the kind smile of a stranger you pass on the street, the vastness of the sky. When you see it, just for a second, offer a quiet internal thank you. That simple act of noticing beauty and offering quiet gratitude is a profound act of worship. It is a small way of acknowledging my goodness, woven into the fabric of the world, even when you cannot feel it inside your own heart. Let go of the need for long, eloquent prayers. If the words will not come, do not force them. Instead, simply sit in the quiet for a few moments each day. If it helps, you can imagine me sitting there in the silence with you. Imagine my hand on your shoulder. Imagine my loving gaze upon you, a look not of disappointment, but of deep, unconditional affection. Your silent, trusting presence with me is a prayer more powerful and more beautiful than 1,000 empty, eloquent words. This is the way forward. It is small. It is gentle. It is slow. I am not calling you to run a marathon. I am simply inviting you to take a single small step, and then another. And I promise you, I will be with you in every single one. There will be days when the silence feels heavy again, when the old lies whisper to you once more. On those days, just breathe, remember your true name, and trust that I am with you in the breath, in the stillness, in the quiet. This is not a quick fix. This is a slow dawn. You have been in the dark for a long time, and your spiritual eyes need time to adjust to the light. The sun will rise again in your soul, I promise you that. But it will rise slowly, gently, painting the sky with soft colors before the full light of day. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with this process. I am infinitely patient with you. I am the God of the slow dawn, of the gradual healing, of the deepening root. I am not in a hurry. Rest with me. If this letter has spoken to a quiet place in your heart, consider subscribing for more messages of hope. You are not alone in this journey. There are many others walking this same path of silence and relearning, and we can walk it together. You might also feel led to share this message with someone you know who is struggling in the quiet and needs to hear that they are not alone or forgotten. And if you feel led as a simple, gentle first step in this new rhythm of grace, you might write in the comments below, I am held. Let it be a declaration of trust, a reminder to your own heart, and an encouragement to others that even in the quiet, especially in the quiet, we are not forgotten. We are held. Now go in peace, my beloved child. Carry these words with you, not as another law to follow or another task to perform, but as a love song sung over you. Rest in the unshakable knowledge that you are seen, you are known, and you are unconditionally loved. The silence is not the end of the conversation. It is merely a pause, a sacred space for the roots of your faith to grow deeper and stronger than ever before. And I am waiting with you, right here, in the stillness. I will be here until you are ready for the gentle whisper of what comes next. Be still, my child. Be still and know, I am God.